Hollywood, Califórnia, é o lar do famoso Comedy Store, na Sunset Boulevard. Para os mestres da piada, o clube é a universidade da comédia. Na verdade, muitos comediantes famosos começaram ali. Inclusive Jim Carrey e David Letterman. Quando futuros comediantes vêm a Los Angeles, a primeira parada é o Comedy Store.
People would get off the bus from Iowa, come right to the Comedy Store with their baggage. They haven't even checked into a hotel, they have no place to live, but they're going to go on at the Comedy Store and show everybody how funny they are.
O que os novatos não sabem é que, segundo alguns, nem só os comediantes fazem shows aqui.
The Comedy Store is so haunted from the attic to the basement. That place is filled with spirits.
Em 1980, Laurie Jacobson trabalhou lá de garçonete.
We used the belly room as a small, intimate club room. We had to put tablecloths on each table and a candle and an ashtray. And once you did that, the room was set up.
Pelo menos devia.
The waitress would go back and everything would be put away. The tablecloths would be off, folded back on the shelf, candles blown out, put away, ashtrays stacked on the bar.
Como Laurie, Joey Gaynor diz ter visto coisas ali que desafiam a explicação.
I think of all the places I've ever heard of, for my money, this is probably one of the most haunted I've ever heard of. Because it's so concentrated. You know, it's like all these different things in one particular building. When I was first working here in this room, came in to shut the lights off behind the stage. I walked up on stage and I hit all the light switches, which took all of about 8-9 seconds, and I walked back and like all of the chairs were piled up like a pyramid. You can't pile all the chairs in 10 seconds. You can't move all the chairs into the aisle in 10 seconds. And you would have heard somebody if they were doing it. That was pretty scary.
Seu colega Blake Clark concorda plenamente.
Oh, I have never had any sort of paranormal manifestation outside of the Comedy Store. I've never encountered ghosts, Bigfoot, Yeti, Sasquatch, or any lizard man or anything like that. Just here. One night I came in and I heard noise in the women's room, like talking, like whispering and giggling. You know, psip, psip, psip. So I went in there and said, all right, I'm locking up the room, you gotta get out. So I walked in and of course there was no one in there.
Para alguns, a energia dos comediantes cria o clima ideal para as manifestações.
You could feel all this nervous tension. My own personal beliefs is some sort of like a demon that thrives on insecurity. I really think it fed off of that. It was a great place to feed off of that.
Blake Clark diz ter visto algo estranho quando andava perto do palco.
The stool was like going, just kind of dancing, vibrating, you know, and then it slid all the way across the stage. I thought, well, somebody's over there pulling it with a fishing wire or something I can't see, and I walked over there and there's no one in the room.
Dizem que os eventos estranhos têm a ver com fantasmas do passado do clube.
The Comedy Store used to be Ciro's nightclub, which was the most famous, most glamorous nightclub in Hollywood's golden age. In the 40s and 50s, there was one club to be seen at, and that was Ciro's. You could go there on any given night and see Lucille Ball, Tyrone Power, Betty Davis, Barbara Stanwyck. You name it, they were at Ciro's.
See, I think a lot of people who had been here, whether they had come here as a nightclub patron or a performer and they passed away, the ghosts, I think, are people that don't know they're dead or don't want to be dead, and they go back to places where they're comfortable.
Joey e Blake dizem que depois de um show, houve uma manifestação poltergeist violenta.
Blake is stacking chairs over there, and I'm putting some chairs up. And finally I look at Blake and I go, you know, whatever's in here, man, I'm sick of this. So I said, hey, you know what? Whatever's in here, come on, bring it on. I'm ready.
And all of a sudden, the ashtray just went flying by I mean, it didn't miss me by more than 6 inches.
There was no one else in here. The ashtray sailed right over my head, smash, right over the door. I looked at Blake, he looked at me, we put the chairs down, and we left. That's poltergeist. And that's when I stopped invoking them and getting them angry. Because that was the only time I think that anything physical happened like that.
I don't want to sound too mysterious or spiritual or whatever, but whenever it was a ghost, you had the feeling that this ain't normal.
Anormal, e talvez até sinistro, ecoando o lado mais sombrio do passado do clube.
I think there a lot of gangster stuff went on in this joint, you know, during the Zero days. This was a big nightclub. The gangsters would come in, the movie stars would come in, they all rubbed elbows. The belly room was like soundproofed and lead-lined because you really don't want anybody hearing someone scream, stop, enough. You know, please, please, oh, please, oh, please. You know, you really don't want anybody to hear it.
Com os comediantes ocorreu algo assustador na escada que leva ao porão.
And we just thump, 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 like something coming up those wooden steps, something big and heavy. And all of a sudden we heard this, and the grate was stretching out, pushing out into the hallway, just like that. And I was just standing there looking at it thinking, how far can this thing go? It's gonna break, it's gonna snap. It went boom, 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 like that. I guess that's closest that came to being afraid of anything in here, was that.
Segundo os comediantes, o contato mais misterioso ocorreu no porão.
We go down there, and all of a sudden Joey's going, "Halt, stop," like that. And I looked at him, and he was standing there with his hands out like this. It was like this thing was forming that was darker than the darkness that was in the room.
It didn't have a physical body. It was more like just it rose, and as it rose, it just got a little wider at the top, and then it was just this huge black fog. I actually got scared because I'd never seen anything like that before.
And then something hits me on my hand that's inside the shelf, like it just dropped. It had my name written on it, Blake Clark, from when I was up in the belly room. That was pretty freaky.
Para os comediantes, essas experiências vão existir sempre no Clube da Comédia.
The Comedy Store is filled with spirits. There is only one in the basement that is very, very unhappy. The rest of the spirits in the Comedy Store, I believe, come back to a place where they had a marvelous time, and they choose to relive that marvelous time over and over again.
I don't know why they do what they do. They got their own agenda, so to speak.
I think as long as this place is open, whether it's the Comedy Store, a pet shop, a hot dog stand, a car wash, there will be ghosts here because they're here and they're not leaving. They have nowhere to go. This is where they go.